say I
Hi all and welcome. I'm Proper D and today we're going to be covering bHaptics' new X series vests, the X40 and the X16. bHaptics were kind enough to send me these two bad boys from their new line of vests, the Tactsuit X series, the X40 and the X16. For those who don't know, the suits are capable of embedded haptics, meaning the feeling of world-based immersive haptics in games that natively support the vest, like getting shot in the chest, for example. And also audio haptics, meaning it can convert any audio from sound effects to music into a felt experience. bHaptics claims that you'll be able to play 70 plus natively supported games on Steam by the end of the first quarter of 2021. Also, not to mention the natively supported library for Quest games is ever growing, and currently we have games such as Onward, Thrill of the Fight, Death Horizon, and more coming soon. bHaptics would seem to be doing for the field of haptics what Oculus Quest 2 is doing for the field of VR generally. That is, it's bringing haptics to the masses through accessibility and affordability. $299 is a very reasonable price to own and enter the world of haptics, in my opinion. Okay, to start off, let's go through the main differences between the older DK3 and the newer X40. Introducing the Tactsuit X40. This piece of kit features a total of 40 vibro-tactile motors. The battery now runs for a longer time over its predecessor. It runs for 18 hours after charging it for just 5. It weighs about the same as the last at 1.7 kg, 3.7 pounds, but in my opinion is now more comfortable. But its biggest change is its ability to dual connect, not only over Bluetooth, but via audio cable as well. This opens up more possibilities in terms of audio haptic use, which we'll discuss a little later. There have been subtle changes to the ergonomics of the suit, which in my opinion make a big difference overall. First of all, in place of the large back Velcro straps on the previous model, you now have these 4 straps on the sides of your torso. These allow for a much easier custom fit as a lot of us are shaped differently. On the previous model, I was having to sort of angle and pull the Velcro straps upwards in order to make it tighter near the waist and looser higher up on the undersides of my arms. With these straps, since there are 2 on each side, you can just tighten or loosen them independently. The straps are now also slightly elastic, which means you can achieve a nice and snug fit without having to feel restricted in any way. And I would say that you do want it fairly snug. You want the motors to be pressed up against the body, obviously so that you can feel the haptics more. So the elasticity is a very welcome addition. This isn't to say that I wasn't able to achieve that snug fit that I wanted on the previous model. It's just that now having these ergonomic changes, it just makes it so much easier to achieve. There are also now these shoulder straps that they've added for bigger people, which basically extends the length of the suit. Personally, I don't need this, but I can really see how this extends the range of possible body shapes that the suit will allow for. Now, introducing the Tactsuit X16. This vest features a total of 16 of the same vibro-tactile motors as used in the X40. The battery on this one runs for an even longer time, 22 hours after just charging it for 2.5 hours. The ergonomics are practically the same as the X40, featuring the same elasticized side straps and the extendable shoulder straps. You'll be able to play all the same bHaptics integrated games with this suit, just with fewer motors. Basically, the feedback that you would find on the X40 is now converted into the X16 automatically, which means that everything that's currently designed for and compatible with the X40 is effectively compatible with the X16 as well. Just to try and explain this a little bit further, the maximum intensity value out of the first top 2 rows of motors on the X40 will be converted and delivered to the top row on the X16 automatically. And similarly for the bottom 3 rows on the X40, the algorithm will pick up the maximum intensity value again and deliver the value to the bottom row of motors on the X16. In other words, any haptic signals and patterns that are based off the X40 motor layout are consolidated and distributed to the fewer motors that you find on the X16, thus giving a sort of proximal replication of the haptic feedback and patterns. So one of the burning questions you might have is, how does the X16 face up to the X40 when it comes to the immersion in natively supported games? Having tried this myself, I can and would personally say that the X16 experience is really very good. Obviously, some accuracy is lost from the haptic positioning on the body, and it doesn't really go all the way down to your belly area. But honestly, you don't lose much of the overall experience, as the haptics are there to complement the other visual or auditory stimulus anyways, and the immersion remains pretty much intact for me. Please note, by the way, the gameplay that you're about to see in the background is a demonstration of the 2 haptic vests connected at the same time to the same game, which is Onwards in this case. The visualizers in the top corners are there to help you see the haptic outputs between the vests. So, as I was saying, playing games like Onwards, which natively supports bHaptics, is still great. Not to mention, as before in a previous video, when I made the distinction between immersive haptic feedback and practical directional feedback, I would hazard a guess that those interested in the more serious or competitive gameplay scene might actually favor the X16 over the X40. The reasons for this being, it still gives excellent directional haptic feedback. It is a fair bit lighter, weighing in at approximately 0.9 kg or 2.1 pounds. And because of its smaller design, it's much more sporty by both function and look. Plus, the shorter and breathable design also makes long sit-down gaming sessions much more enjoyable. Audio to haptics is, as the title suggests, a function that allows you to take the audio signal from an external source and convert it into haptics on your bHaptics gear. In this case, tailored to your specification as well. One of the best things about the audio to haptics is that you can customize these settings for your own personal use. That is, you can select specific frequencies you wish to feel, select the activation areas on the vest. You can create your own profile suited specifically for you. For a more extensive guide of this feature and how to customize it, please refer to the link in the description below of the bHaptics Studio. So bHaptics already have this function wirelessly for use with their PC-based bHaptics player. However, one of the most significant changes featured by the new Tactsuit X series is this new audio plug right here, right at the top of the battery pack. This dual connectivity feature opens up a whole new range of audio to haptics possibilities. Basically, instead of solely relying on Bluetooth connectivity for audio to haptics, you can now feed audio into your vest by any means as long as it outputs into a 3.5 stereo jack. This means that bHaptics have effectively extended their audio to haptics functionality to things like the Quest, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all the console gaming, with use of the bHaptics mobile app. Let's check out some gameplay for both the X40 and X16, demonstrating the audio to haptics function. Please note that here I'll be playing using the PC-based audio haptic function. This is so that I can show you the audio to haptics visualizer for both the X40 and the X16 simultaneously. However, the haptic experience would be exactly the same if I was using the wired audio to haptics on a Quest, for example, especially since these 2 games that I'm about to demo are both also available on the Quest.
It's time to ditch this junkyard.
If you haven't already, go ahead and install the bHaptics mobile app, and once that's done, pair the vest via Bluetooth in the same way that you would do on the PC. Just make sure that the bHaptics player is not running on your PC at the same time, as there will be a clash in the pairing process as your computer tries to connect to the vest as well. Now, in order to have control over the audio to haptics profiles when you're using these non-PC audio sources like Quest or consoles, you're going to have to first plug the audio source into the vest first. Only when the vest detects that there's been something plugged into it will the Audio to Haptics tab on the mobile app become available. And from there, you can now adjust the frequency and threshold to select the range you wish to feel the sound in the same ways that you can with the bHaptics PC-based Audio to Haptics Studio. Things to note: when you are using the audio output on things like the Quest, the onboard speakers will no longer output any sound, and this is where this little Y audio splitter comes in handy. You'll find this included in the package alongside the Bluetooth dongle and accessories. So now all you have to do is plug this splitter straight into your vest, and one end leads to your Quest and the other straight to your headphones. And this way you'll be able to enjoy the full functionality while using the wired method for Audio to Haptics. Also, this little ring at the top here is an audio cable holder just to manage the wires. Don't make the general mistake of thinking that because of the size and shape difference that the X40 is better suited for men and the X16 is better suited for women. This just isn't true. They are both definitely unisex by design. They both look, fit, and function well for everyone. You know, when it comes to gaming and especially for the field of VR, the way it looks on the outside versus its core functionality should be of little importance. But to me, however, these vests just look so damn good that it's something that I refuse to ignore, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about it. The battery pack on your back now makes it look like you're wearing something out of the Avengers or something. And in comparison to the previous model, it's very much less cumbersome, integrated, like it's part of the suit, not just something that's attached. I used to feel like there was this sort of chunk on my back, but now with this, not anymore. And let's not forget the armor plating. I mean, if you ever wanted to wear anything that felt bulletproof with Spartan-like abs, well, this certainly does the trick. So just like with anything, there are pros and cons, and while I am super lucky to be able to own both, if I had to choose just one of them, it would still have to be the X40, for the simple reason that it's capable of delivering a more extensive and complex haptic feedback experience. If you're interested in the full immersive experience, then there's no doubt about it, the X40 is the way to go. Okay, well that just about covers everything that you need to know to get started using the vests. I hope you enjoy the vest and also hope that you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Please do consider leaving a like and subscribe if you do, and as always, I'll see you in there.